everybody, and welcome. I'm Steve Milton, and it's a big day around here. You can see we're in the Tiger Cats dressing room, which is not an unfamiliar place to the two guests that I have with me here today. These are two familiar voices. The voices enter the room before they do, and they're very familiar faces. I'm proud to call them longtime friends, both of them. And the announcement we have today is the new broadcast team for Ticats Audio, Ticats Games on Ticats Audio. Rick Zamperin, play-by-play veteran man, and of course, this man needs no introduction either. Simoni Lawrence, how many times All-Star? 5, 6 times in the East, 3 times CFL, and you will be the color commentator, and I don't know if you can limit it to that. When they say color commentator, that's a great adjective for you, because they're colorful guys. So let's start with Rick.
Sure.
Second time around now, behind the mic here, Rick. 8 years in the first go-around, from
seasons,
2007 to 2014 with CHML, a longtime broadcaster of Ticats games. You did one Grey Cup, I think, and covered the team for a couple. Then you also covered it for CHML over the years and on your own podcast. So you've been covering this team for how long?
2001. Yeah, came to Hamilton in 2000, started CHML late 2000, so the 2001 season. Jumped right in. I was a big CFL fan at that point. It was a natural progression. I thought I was made to cover this team, and it's been a wild ride ever since.
Voices of Ticats, there's a lot of cachet to that in a lot of ways, right? What does that mean to you to hear that phrase?
It means a lot because this team means a lot to this city. And so in my role, I'm describing the action on the field from an audio sense, and I have to bring the game to life for the person who can't be there. And so when they're tuning in, it's my responsibility to explain what happened and kind of how it happened, and celebrate the wins and kind of, talk about the losses and how the team can get better. It's a great responsibility.
Right.
With responsibility comes accountability and transparency and being a cheerleader when they're playing well, but being critical when they're not playing well as well. So, and I take a lot of pride in that.
Well, and to your sidekick now, your new sidekick. Simoni, you've been with us with the Hamilton Sports Group now, this second or third formal year, right? Second formal year with the club. And, before that, of course, you were playing.
I've been here since 2013, Milt.
Yes, I know, and you haven't changed, and you're still calling me out.
Of course.
I'm not sure that this was what you originally had in mind. Why did you agree to add this to your portfolio? And I should mention that Sim does a ton of stuff for this organization. He's a great brand ambassador. He's on several boards of directors. He sits out and represents us in the community. Why did you also add this to your portfolio? How'd that come about?
It was something that I wanted to do to further my future,
Right.
I felt like I really wanted to be in the broadcasting business. I love football, and not only do I love football, I love Hamilton, what I mean? And it's something that's just inside of me. I watch the football games, I get all worked up, and I talk about it all the time. So I'm like, why not talk about it for real, And I get it's an amazing opportunity to deliver information to one of the best fan base and a lot of other fan bases around, because we're definitely going to pick up a lot of other people watching or listening to the games and picking us up. So I'm excited about that. And really, it's just one of those things where it's like, this is HSG Hamilton Sports Group. We're a sports entertainment business. And I feel like my job is to deliver football at a high level in an exciting entertainment way to our fans.
Key word there, and you and I have talked about this over the years, about what professional sport is, what this franchise is, what this league is, and that's the word. It's entertainment. And more, I think we're acknowledging that at the Hamilton Sports Group and the CFL in itself. So how do you make things entertaining? And what is entertainment?
Entertainment is the product, of course. It
Right.
starts with you see all these names in the locker room. It starts with the players. And what they do is so incredible. I tell people all the time, these football players are amazing athletes, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And our job, me and Rick's job, is to showcase their athletic ability to our fan base and explain what they are doing and why it is so amazing at what they are doing.
A little backfill here for those of you that maybe need a little bit of a recollection here about Sim. If it's not the most lopsided trade in the history of the Tiger Cats. It's probably second only to the Filoni trade back in the
Probably.
50s. But certainly the most lopsided, favorable trade in this century, meaning the 21st century, back in 2013 when you arrived on this team. 4 Grey Cup appearances since then. What do you think bringing all that playing experience can do for a color commentator? How do you view this? I mean, you're only you played with some of these guys.
Yeah.
Is there a pitfall there, or is there strength there? It's 2
for
years
sure
ago.
It's strength, because I do listen to a lot of people talk about the CFL, and I find that being not that far removed from the CFL, I still understand a lot of the language, and I see a lot of the plays that a lot of the league runs, because it's a very copycat league. So I can explain that in formula that everybody could understand. So it's going to be a huge plus. And then working with Rick, that's have so many years doing the job, I can also learn and piggyback off of him, but still be myself. So I'm excited about that.
I think when we talked we saw each other on the weekend at an event, and one of the things we talked about there is that you not only can bring inside football to, and this is a pretty intelligent fan base.
Yeah,
they can be awful
Let's
rough
go.
on a team, but they're intelligent. But there's also a bunch of fans, and a lot of fans that we try to reach, that don't know a lot about football. And you made a really good point saying that you would try to compare it to things that they might understand.
Yeah, of course. So I see football from an extremely high level,
Right.
but that doesn't mean anything. It's about the information that you can give out to the masses, you know?
Right.
So I feel like if you're good at something, if you're really good at something, you should be able to explain it in a formula everybody can understand. And if you have to use certain references that they may understand, that'd be cool too. And for example, playing football in Hamilton, it's a real city. And that's why I'm so excited about this job, because I get to be my authentic self while calling this game. And that's what the fans want. They want, if somebody's doing something that's not supposed to be getting done, they want to hear the real about it. They don't want you to sugarcoat it. They don't want you, feed them candy. They want to hear the real, and I'm excited about that. And when Tim White is catching 5 touchdowns in the game, they want it delivered in that good Rick voice that he got. You know what I'm saying? They
And
want
you
that
explaining it from a football standpoint that he got against a linebacker.
Exactly.
But also to say, it's kind of like Taylor Swift practicing this or something that they might understand. Right?
Exactly.
Quick story about
Okay,
Sim.
yeah.
And this is, I saw it in real life. How, I was at practice last year, and one particular practice, Simoni Lawrence is in the press box with me, and I think you were there, and a bunch of others. And Sim's breaking down the play in practice in a very understandable way. It wasn't top level, this guy's doing that. It was like, yeah, okay, I see that now. And seeing it through his eyes is really cool.
That's really important. Now let's go to you and Sim. You covered him.
Yes.
2013
2013 on.
2013 on, you covered him, but actually broadcast him 2013, 2014. 2 very unusual years in the history of Ticats football. 1 year was the Guelph year, which is still deserved its own documentary. In 2014, of course, they were undefeated in this building when they played in the games that they played in this building. What do you remember about him as a player and calling him?
Words that I associate with Simoni: relentless, ferocious, contagious, excellence.
Right.
And every game he brought it. And not only did he bring it, but he was such a galvanizing force that others also said, well, I'm bringing it too. If this guy's doing it, I'm hopping on his back and let's go. So that's what I remember most about Simoni's career, illustrious career. All-time defensive or total tackles and defensive tackles record breaker for Hamilton. A guy who had 17 tackles in a game.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. I'm tired thinking about it.
Yeah. So we have superstars in the broadcast booth now.
Rick's being extremely modest, though. I was talking about you, Rick, to my mom actually, and she was just like, he has the perfect voice. The perfect voice, you know what I mean? You are like a catalyst of this, and I'm so honored to be next to you while
Likewise.
I'm doing this, you know what I mean? Like all the accolades I received in football, that's cool, but I am trying to grow and be the best at this too, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like preparation comes with that, that's the main thing.
How do you plan to prep? Do you know what kind of things you'll do?
Mel. This is I don't want to give all the secrets of how you're supposed to
What, you think I'm going to
prepare.
copy and try to be
No,
you?
I don't don't think you are, but you know, you got Milt on here, you got Rick on here, you got Simoni. This might touch like 50 million people. We can't give them all the sauce, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I feel you have to be an extreme pro. You know, I've been reading a lot of books about like how a lot of sports broadcasting even started with like CBS and Fox and all this cool stuff. So I'm excited. Like I've been taking a little bit of everything to put in my repertoire, and I know the main thing is just being extremely confident. That's the same approach that I went with football. Like I was extremely confident playing football, and the reason I was so confident playing football was the preparation. Yep. I prepare like no other. Like that's the name of the game, preparation.
I'm going to ask you guys in a very quick thumbnail to explain how you got here with the assets that you have. We'll start with you with confidence, but also your gregariousness. Your like.
I don't know if you were always. Let it out.
I don't know if you were always this out front as you were growing up, but is there a way of saying within 30 seconds of how you got to be sort of the personality that you are?
Okay, so I grew up in Philadelphia, and if you know about Philadelphia, it's a sports town. We like talking crap. Every morning going to school, my dad would take me to school, and I used to listen to this thing called Sports 10 WIP, and I always thought it was so amazing how they could deliver information about sports in such an entertainment way. So I always was like, this is cool. And then like in Philadelphia, we always have a back and forth talking crap and stuff. As you guys may know, I was voted TSN Best Trash Talker, 8 years in a row, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think there was a second.
So I'm known to talk a little bit of ish, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, all of this is just a surreal like a moment right now that you know. Who said talk was cheap, right? Right.
Well, in one way, you could say you're making a career out of your personality traits in a way. What about you, Rick? You're like me. You grew up in Toronto, unfortunately, but
unfortunately,
like me, adopted by.
Hey, but you see where his heart's at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honorary Hamilton, more than an honorary Hamilton. You're a Hamiltonian. I feel the same way at the city. Tell me a little bit about how you got into this. Why broadcast and why football?
Listen, I was 10 years old when I fell in love with sports,
right.
And you know whether it's watching on TV or listening on the radio, and while I always wanted to be the athlete, I thought it was very cool that the men and women who were able to tell the stories, I thought, you know what, that's what I want to do. And I was just hooked at how they would describe things, their energy level, the cadence, all that kind of stuff. And I fell in love with how they told their stories and the personalities of the people telling their stories, whether it was Bob Cole or Dick Enberg or Jim Nantz, like you name it. Some of the best know how to let the moment live with them included in it. Yeah. And I got hooked, and that's what I wanted to do, and here we are.
Yeah. You hit on a couple of things here, because the main theme that we have in our department here, and that includes everything that comes out about football from the Tiger Cats, is we tell stories. And I got two great storytellers sitting with me. I cannot wait until it starts. You can feel it around here now. More players are here. Yeah. Bo Levi Mitchell was here last week. The draft is coming up. Training camps basically a month away. You can really feel the excitement, and I think we should all be pretty excited about what lies ahead of us on the broadcast. So tune in and check us out for all of the Ticat news, and we'll see everybody next time.